Mario Kart 7. Oh yeah, I love Mario Kart 7. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I have no childhood connection with any of these games. Maybe because I'm still a kid, but whatever. I didn't grow up with any of these games, so I treated these games in a more objective review rather than a personal one. I'm gonna do the same when I'm going to eventually review all of these games. Anyways, that's off topic. Out of all these games, I think Mario Kart 7 is the best one and coincidentally the most overlooked game in this franchise. Introduced many new things that will become staples more or less, and this game made sure to utilize those concepts to their fullest potential. Yes, I'm talking about a glider and the underwater gimmick. Great ways to shape up the general gameplay while also allowing the developers to be more creative in terms of track design, and it shows with these tracks. So today I'll be taking a look at every track in this game and rank them accordingly from worst to best. We'll start with our usual F tier and make our way towards the S tier, maybe S plus tier. Who knows? So without further ado, let's get started with the worst track in this game. F tier, N64 Calamari Desert. I'm sorry guys, this track is just not good. I have seen many people praise this course because there is a train. And while I do think trains are cool, I also want trains in video games to be utilized properly. This is not one of those situations. For starters, you can glide over the train, which makes it pointless, unless these are actually shortcuts. Where am I getting at? The train just isn't well designed from a gameplay perspective. And in this game, especially as well as the original version, if it happens that a train stops you but someone else passes it before blocking you off, there is no way you can catch up. The items you get in this game are not based on how far away first place is, so what ends up happening is first place front runs the track by a long shot, effectively securing their win. This should not happen in a racing game. Every racer has one goal: to win. And having a train here is so anti-racing in general, not just Mario Kart. Aside from the train, this track is just your average desert track, boring and dull. Cheap Cheap Cape. I really don't get why the developers couldn't bother to make a track that showcases the underwater gimmick and also provide a good track design. Its only purpose in existing is to serve as a tutorial for the underwater driving mechanic. Nothing more, nothing less. D tier, Toe Circuit. Toe Circuit is the basic bitch-ass starting course that's designed to teach first-time players on how to play the game. It's pretty much a staple of Mario Kart, which is understandable. That's why you will see many people giving the first tracks a pass in the track design department. Even then, it's not devoid of fun. There's a useless glider ramp that activates on lap 2. Players can use this to get a feel of the glider before actually testing their ability to control the glider in the next track. There's also two shortcuts near the end: the ramp and the cut through the pipes. While not being the best track out there, it does a serviceable job teaching new players on how to play the game, how to use the glider in a safe environment, and how to take shortcuts. N64 Luigi Raceway. I doubt anybody would argue for the lameness of Luigi Raceway. This is the first track from Mario Kart 64 and it's not good here. I rank this track pretty high solely because the track selection is not the brightest there, but here, not only there are so many fan favorites for the average Mario Kart fan, but you can also glide on Mario Circuit 2, which is a SNES track. So why didn't the developers do anything special with this one? I'm not saying being faithful is a bad thing, but when you do stuff like glider in the SNES track, like I mentioned before, then it leaves this track to stick out in a bad way. The only change is that you can drive on those blue things, not sure what they are, but you couldn't bother to add a glider ramp at the end of those things. That would have been the perfect update that this track deserved, even if it's basic. Daisy Hills. Yeah, the mushroom cup is just not good at all. Daisy Hills is pretty much a tutorial track for the glider mechanic. At the very least, this one does offer interesting track design for a bare minimum, and the music is charming. Overall, this track is not good, but at least it is a better tutorial-like track than Chip Chip Cave. GBA Bowser Castle 1. How the hell is this the third game in a row to feature a GBA Bowser Castle track? You guys do realize Super Circuit had other tracks besides circuits and castles? But unfortunately, they did the Super Circuit dirty in this game by making only one track from that game. That is Bowser Castle 1. It's the simplest of the castle tracks in that game and also the shortest one as well. I do like how they use the glider mechanic in this by having players glide for a long time until they reach this ramp for a shortcut. That's neat. The music also rocks. But that's it. I don't understand why this franchise is so poor in terms of representing Super Circuit. The only track besides circus and the castles that was remade was Sky Garden in the DS, which shows that they are aware that the GBA had other tracks in that game. Shy Guy Beach from Wii doesn't count. The SDK Pass. I have nothing else to say about this one here. They added a glider ramp and that's it. I literally have nothing else to add besides the fact that they brought this track back alongside other big names such as Luigi's Mansion, Waluigi Pinball, and Airship Fortress. DK Jungle. I really don't find this track that interesting. The jungle theme has been done before. I mean, it's not a bad theme, but you couldn't choose anything else. This track is based on Donkey Kong Country Returns. But that game had a few worlds that were unique and interesting and was made for more rich and interesting track design for Mario Kart 7. You had a cave world, forest world, factory world, volcano world, and you guys chose a jungle. Missed potential if you ask me. Gameplay wise it's fine, the music is also fine, but that's really it. C tier, Alpine Pass. You know, this is a bit extreme when it comes to showcasing new gimmicks. On one hand, Alpine Pass showcases the glider mechanic pretty well by having two glider sections where you fly for a while. On the other hand, I think it's way too much in my opinion. The theme of this track is also pretty generic, it's just grass and rocks for the most part, nothing spectacular. The music is fantastic. Love me some rock. Mario Circuit. This game's rendition of Mario Circuit is fine. From what I have seen, people really soar over this one because you can drive in the castle for a brief moment, which is like, yeah, it's cool. Couple that with the glider section, the cherry blossoms, and the pipe near the end, it does do some interesting things while at the same time trying to adhere the curves of being a Mario Circuit. It ain't allowed to go crazy. One problem I have is this mushroom jump that leads to the castle. This jump is very awkward, pretty much impossible to do this properly when you play it for the first time. It's annoying but a small issue nonetheless. N64 Koopa Beach. Actually this track was named Koopa Troopa Beach in the original. Anyways, Koopa Troopa Beach is a fine track I guess. The rock formation now looks like a Koopa Troopa more than the older rock formation that vaguely resembled this turtle. They also changed this shortcut right here. And the original is a big shortcut, cutting an entire long turn just like that. Here though, I'll be honest, they made it a bit awkward, but it still is a good enough shortcut. They also made that ramp that goes over the big rock a glider ramp, giving you a reason to use the ramp instead of ignoring it like in the original. You can drive out the water more efficiently, I suppose. That's it. Woohoo Loop, our first section track and technically our first crossover track. I will be honest, but I don't get the hype around this track. It does sell me on the idea of section tracks, but the sections themselves don't really feel distinct. In fact, they are just road with occasional shortcuts and cars on them. It really does feel like a casual drive-through more than a race course, but at least the glider shortcut is fun. Waka Woohoo. To be honest with you, I really don't understand why there are two Wii Sports Resort race courses when they barely feel any different. I guess this one feels more like a race course if anything, and it does feature the longest gliding section in the entirety of Mario Kart. At least that's what I heard. I think Alpine passes its competition. I haven't commented on the music, so let me do that now. The music is pretty good and it's quite fitting as well. Overall, I feel like they could have done better with these tracks. Wii Koopa Cape. Oh boy. So a friendly reminder that Koopa Cape is my second favorite track from Wii, so seeing this version heavily disappointed me. The elephant in the room, the tube section, they made it like any other underwater section. I did see this coming from a mile away, but it's still such a bummer. And the electric circles were replaced with fish that do nothing when you touch them. They are just moving walls. Great. Aside from that, there's this pointless glider ramp that skips over a bit over the most interesting set piece, the river. This won't be the last time this track will get butchered, at the very least they are consistent. B tier. GameCube Daisy Cruiser. This one was also ruined, but it's not as bad as Koopa Cape's case. They made this pool drivable, which is just a stupid idea. In the original, you had to swing around the pool, then prepare for the declining U-turn. At the beginning, we now have two separate paths to choose from. Combined with the non-hazardous pool, it's just easier to choose the right path to just drive straight through the pool. TLDR, I'm not a fan of the changes they made to Daisy Cruiser, and I don't know about you, but this map feels little bit bigger. It's not too bad, I just feel like it got bigger for no reason. Bowser's Castle, probably the weakest Bowser's Castle track out there. Well, if we exclude Super Mario Kart, that's for sure. A collection of half-baked ideas to form a race course that is kinda confusing, like why is there a giant spinning tube? Why is this part of the castle flooded? Why are there cobwebs everywhere? And why every room inside this castle feels radically different than the other? The best part is the glider ramp. This allows the player to choose the path they consider to be faster, or just the path that they prefer to take. That's all well and good. For a Bowser's Castle track, it just does not hit all the notes required. At the very least, it is still fun enough course to play through, and even if the ideas don't really correlate, it makes this track unique for its confusing moments. Wii Mushroom Gorge. I think I ranked this track in B tier as well in the Wii version, so my thoughts on this one haven't changed drastically at all. They added a blue mushroom which acts as a glider ramp. One thing I don't like about this version is that the mushrooms themselves look very flat. In the original version, look how they look. Super bouncy if you ask me, not the case here. Yes, Luigi's Mansion. The same thing goes to Luigi's Mansion, not much to say. They did add two glider ramps which are nice, and the music now sounds like it has a rhythm of sorts. Wii Coconut Mall. Fun fact, the best iteration of Coconut Mall is still the Wii version to this day. I really don't like how this track looks. The color palette is so dry. Everything feels so abandoned. In fact, there are no means to be seen in this track. The top floor having a glider ramp is understandable, but why the fuck does the bottom floor have a glider ramp as well? It ain't a crack through the earth which seems to lead nowhere, it's just road and the distance between the exit and the road is not that big. Also, there are still no shopping carts as obstacles. Let's end on a positive note, the music sounds much more frantic than the original. Take a listen. Overall, this is a direct downgrade from the original. I know they had to make some sacrifices because this is a handheld after all, but these changes were too much in my opinion, where they contribute to taking Coconut Mall's identity. I didn't even like this track as much as the average Mario Kart fan, and yet I still noticed something was rubbing me the wrong way for this track. Yes, Waluigi Pinball. Now I do remember saying that this track was awkward to play in the original version, I think. However, I find it too easy. I mean, it's fine, it's a flower cup track, it should not get too crazy. But not only I feel it's easier than before, I also find this boring. This is the only track where I have encountered this problem. On one hand, we have the original version, the DS version which had a gameplay style that in my opinion made this track a bit hard to play. No, it's not a skill issue, fuck off. But then Mario Kart 7, aka the 3DS version, I don't know, I feel like it's easy and boring. Aside from that personal dilemma, it's the same old track that everybody, including their grandma, loves, except me. A tier, GameCube Dino Jungle. I cannot believe the fact that I'm ranking this track very high. I have never really liked this track in Double Dash, I just couldn't care for it, and to be honest it was way too fucking hard. But now that this game has intuitive controls, it's much more pleasant to play through this one. The updates are not anything that revolutionary, just some glider ramps in some places, that's it. But honestly, this track being remade for this game was all that it needed. I'm quite impressed. SNES Mario Kart 2. Okay, now hear me out. This track is actually good, I swear to god. The developers decided to add two of the best Super Mario Kart tracks to this game. One of them is Mario Kart 2. It was always a standout in the original. I mean, it's the only track that has a big jump at the end that comes to my mind. No other track has done anything like that before. So naturally, that's the best SNES track to remake. And what a damn good remake it is. Not only it has a fun layout, now it has a glider ramp so we can fly now. There's even a shortcut for this new addition in the form of this long pulsating yellow thing. Also, the music continues to be a banger no matter what. Shy Guy Bazaar. What are you saying? Are you telling me that they actually made a very good desert track? No way! I cannot believe this! Shy Guy Bazaar is genuinely one of the best desert tracks out there, even beating Dry Rooms for me. It's just so good, so fun. It doesn't force you to drive on sand the whole track. This is the best desert track out there, and I will defend this one against the haters. Look guys, you can hate the mushroom cup all you want, we can all agree that this track is just good. That being said, the music is a downgrade compared to the Wii version. I don't know, it just feels like any desert theme except it's more Arabian. I much prefer Dry Room's music as that one was actually catchy. Wario Galleon. This might be the most underrated track in the entirety of Mario Kart. Even after I heard people say that, I still don't see people talking about it. I mean, sure, it might not be as good as a track like Waluigi Pinball, but for me, it is. I really like this course. It is pretty fun to navigate through all of this water. The track layout is kind of clunky, but I feel like that design choice is intentional because, I mean, this track is associated with this guy. This section right here is also kind of steep, like the final part from Alpine Pass. This can easily be changed into an anti-gravity section if it was to remain from Mario Kart 8. But Alpine Pass was more important than this track to get remade in the 8 Deluxe DLC, am I right gamers? S tier, the Essential Fortress. My DS ranking video, I said that I would have ranked this track in the S tier if it wasn't for the spiral being a bit awkward. And what do you know? The spiral tower is no longer awkward. In fact, it is pretty satisfying to change many mini turbos. Besides that, it's the same good old course everyone knows. SNES Rainbow Road. This might be my favorite Rainbow Road out there. It's simple and yet it is effective. I do wish the shockwaves from the thumps were pretty impactful. In this version, the idea is to do tricks on these shockwaves, however they feel a bit unsatisfying to do. Mario Kart 8 made sure to rectify that problem. Aside from that, the music is a banger, however I feel like I prefer the original song. Kinda like it when it was compressed. Rainbow Road. Man, what a great track. This honestly feels like no other Rainbow Road. This feels like a true adventure. You go on Saturn's rings? You go on the moon? Well, this might be piss easy for a Rainbow Road, I can't deny. It is a good one. You hear that N64 Rainbow Road? You can be easy and also good at the same time. Solid track overall. The music is fantastic, the shortcuts are risky, and the whole track is really that interesting. There is a reason why this is considered a fan favorite. S plus tier. Rosalina's Ice World. Oh my god. This is awesome. I cannot believe people hate this track because it tries to lazily pull a Mario Galaxy reference. People believe that Rosalina deserves better. Okay, suggest something else then. What, you think a space theme track could work? We already have Rainbow Road. Wouldn't that be redundant? Come on, give me something. Nothing? Then shut the fuck up. This story is dangerous. I like it. While I don't like the fact that they take away the ability to go on the ice here, instead you go on the freezing water. I don't mind it that much, and you can still use a mushroom to reach that ice. The music is also just pure genius from the Japanese. I heard people say that the music is bland and boring. Are you guys stupid? This suits Rosalina so much. They even incorporated sounds that make it sound like falling stars. I also like how the ice looks in this section here. It's nice that it's not just blue everywhere. Underrated track in my honest opinion. I don't understand why people hate this track or just don't think highly of it. It is a good track that it is ice theme. I'm surprised it isn't annoying to play. That's a plus in my book. Wii Maple Treeway. My favorite Wii track is still my favorite track in a game where it is a retro track. What a surprise. It still is beautiful looking and it still plays well. They added a glider here and here. They got rid of the jack-off bridge, but honestly I don't mind it that much. I'm glad that they haven't ruined this track visually. It looks like the Wii version will clean up. Hopefully there won't be a Mario Kart game where this returns on a retro track where it looks like ugly as shit. Neo Bowser City. If you hate this track, then skill issue, brother. Either that or you just don't have standards. Or you suck so bad at Mario Kart you think Baby Park is a masterpiece. Anyways, the vibes this course offers are just so good. Nailing those big boy turns is the most adrenaline-inducing moment out there. You nail those turns and you are a pro. The music is also just a banger. I do wish we heard an original song. This one just features many remixes to other songs. It is good, guys. Piranha Plant Pipeline. Holy shit. This track is so much fun. I don't get why people don't rank this track very high. The track layout is good. The music is fantastic. Everything is awesome about this track. I did see some people actually hating this course and I'm baffled. There's no way you hate this track. Come on. Everything you see in this track is perfection and you cannot change my mind. The gameplay, fantastic as hell. The gliding section, exhilarating. Music, a banger. Melody Motorway. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best track in the entire game, and if you think otherwise, you just hate fun. Sorry, but just look at this majestic beast. Track based on instruments? Sign me up! Driving on said instruments to trigger noises? Amazing! These big ass notes jump in rhythm with the melody. Ah, see, that's why it's called Melody Motorway. Also, alliteration is better than no alliteration. Fuck you, Music Park. Let's end things on an even more positive note than before by talking about the music, but like, just listen to yourself. Masterpiece, am I right? And that was it! Mario Kart 7 is truly an underrated game. Its track selection is so good. I'm honestly impressed with how many tracks are above the B tier. This game is just that good. I've had lots of fun playing this game compared to every other game. It's not like the other games aren't fun, it's just I love this game so much. Here's a tears for your troubles. Well, I have covered every single Mario Kart game out there. Now it's time for the final challenge. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What's that? What? I missed a game? What the fuck are you talking about?